Hi, Mo. So it's Friday. Planet Venus governs over enjoyment, relationship, love, lust, sex. Right? Lord Shukra. It's the water element, bonds, cohesion, universality or universalization. Right? So you feel me? Just keeping with Venus, trying to keep up with Venus. I was led to this jump. I ended up purchasing this jump and I started reading. I was like, yo, this guy is good. Because I've had these, like, you feel me, learning. As you learn, you be like, okay, if I'm paired with Shada, Moon, that's Opus. How does the deities play into it? The deities got a lot of sayings and the influence. So Opus is the water. When I meet somebody, critical Moon, that's their deity is Agni. Their archetype is Agni. That's fire. So when I meet them, it's like the elements already. It's kind of like a tug of war. If they might feel like I could put them out, or they got to fight against being getting extinguished or something like that. You dig what I'm saying? And then Purvashada, the Venus and the Jupiter sign, and then Pusha nakshatra. It's Brihaspati. Venus and Jupiter, or Venus, Shukra, and Brihaspati, they wage war against each other. Like, that's what they do with each other. You dig what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I'm gonna just read a little bit from this book, "Sex and the Stars: The Dynamic Between Nakshatras" by Dercio Lichucha of the Hidden Octave. I hope I said your name right, my nigga. You did a great job with this book. Alright. Like a really good job, man. Try to get my frame rate up. It's really a tablet. It's not a laptop. Introduction. The following is a book that attempts to describe some of the possible relationship dynamics that may arise between two individuals of a given nakshatra. It considers various aspects like the guna, the yoni, the sign, the quality, the element, and among other aspects, the deities, and their relationship in the often told tales, is what I was saying in the beginning. There are, of course, various expressions of a single placement, and it wouldn't be possible to explore all of those as well in combination with the various expressions of the other half of the pair. Two nakshatras may commonly be thought of as incompatible, but a unique expression of both may give rise to a special compatibility. That being said, each placement has its more appropriate match, and this is generally taken into account. So in the scheme of this book, the first nakshatra, when he does the pairings, the first nakshatra represents the male partner and the second the female partner. So Kritika, Ashwini. Kritika is the man, Ashwini is the woman. If you're a man, you get this book, yours is going to be first. Your star sign is going to be first. If you're a woman and you check this book out, your star sign is going to be second. You know what I'm saying? So you might want to look up the guy's sign, or just look yours up. Right? So this book is more so a way to explore the lunar mansions in a different context and consider how their symbolisms interact with those of their spouses. This book is a dramatization of one of the many possible permutations between two nakshatras, and serves more as a means of getting us to understand them better than those as a true matchmaking reference book. To really study compatibility will require a study of the full birth charts of both parties. This book is made to seem like it is uniquely concerned with compatibility, but really it is more than that. It is a conversation on alchemy, and even aspects of the personalities of these nakshatras that often take precedence over the descriptions of how two nakshatras will be in a relationship written in a more casual style. Like an example of that is AAPS.space, and you just look up compatibility on their website, and they got like real kind of just like very. It's not even specific to a gender really, but theirs is very casual. So yoni. The yoni of the nakshatras specifically relates to the size and shape of the sexual organ, as well as the sexual behavior that one can extend to represent the instinctual behavior. The yoni animal of the nakshatra also represents how outsiders view the natives of these yonis. For instance, cow yonis and goat yonis are seen as the most sexually approachable and also sexually desirable. Cows and goats give us milk. You could take milk to market, or you could put, store for later. And it's like, you feel me? It's good for everybody. Tiger and lion yonis are seen as least sexually approachable and most intimidating. It's a tiger or a lion, like, you know what I'm saying? Fierceness, a very aggressive, strong appetite. You dig what I'm saying? Careful. Dog and rat yonis are seen as having the most unusual and even reprehensible sexual fetishes. Okay. I heard that like the actual rats when they got copulate and stuff like that, when they in mating season, they do it like hundreds of times in a matter of hours, and they do it anywhere in nooks and crannies. You dig what I'm saying? And then dogs do what dogs do. So the vegetarian yonis are the quickest to begin sexual activity, losing their virginity early because their sexuality is seen as approachable. The carnivorous yonis, despite their sexual appeal, often begin sexual activity later in life, owing to the intimidation factor. There is a curious phenomenon with the tiger, lion, and to a lesser extent the cat yonis. They are seen as sexless, or they radiate so much sexuality that they think it seem dirty or slutty to others. But regardless of the extreme, they are often seen as less sexually approachable for one reason or the other. Regarding which yoni animal is the most seductive is somewhat of a conversation. Seductive in what sense would be the question to ask. The men of the deer yoni are seductive in the sense of being trained in the art of ensnaring multiple women, as they report the highest number of sexual partners. They understand the fickle nature of women, as the deer itself is most fickle, and so are the best at laying a trap to catch them. The men of the deer yoni understand that, on a basic level, women suffer from various neuroses, and so they are good at pacifying them long enough to engage them sexually. But those of the monkey yoni are seductive not in the sense of getting various strangers into bed, but more so in the sense of selecting one person and then making it their mission to beguile them into romance. Then we have the serpent yoni, that is the most naturally seductive without needing to train themselves, even as their mere presence inspires thoughts of desire, often extremely intense, as is the case of Rohini. Rohini is like really like they kind of into themselves. And then the other one is a Slatia of the. Is it a Slatia? No, a Slatia is the cat yoni, pardon me. The other one is Mercashira. In explaining the animal yoni, provided below, each description is the symbolism behind each animal and how it is depicted in mystical context. Now, why the mystical context and not the actual, real-life behavior of the animal? This is because, since astrology is a mystical subject, one must recall that there is a mystical side to every animal that goes beyond how they behave in the wild. Different celestial forces choose to take the form of different animals, and those with spiritual insight depict these animals in art and otherwise invoke these animals with some awareness that they are invoking a divine force. So, it becomes more relevant to us to figure out how mystically these animals are perceived rather than zoologically. Here's a short description of the different yonis. Let me get my time. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Alright. Horse yoni. The horse yoni, as far as male genitalia, is one of the largest, if not the largest. Sturdy, strong, and polygamous in nature, they often enjoy multiple partners, and even in committed relationships, often enjoy courting attention from strangers. Their sexual prowess is of much concern to them, either taking pride or shame in their ability as well as their organs. Very selective of sexual and romantic partners with very high standards regarding whom they wish to be with, as they look for fitness in various areas and imagine them to have a partner that is socially respected. They may struggle to find all what they're looking for in one partner, so may enjoy multiple partners. Considered conventionally attractive by others, as they may carry many signs of fitness, they are proud and very concerned with how they are perceived by others, and are susceptible to shame and feel crushed by humiliation. And so, even with their partners, try their best to choose those partners they admire and that they are seen as admirable in the eyes of society. But they may also be highly selective with severe standards concerning their main partner, but may entertain less socially fit secondary partners in secret. They are most likely to remain even in an unsatisfying union less for reasons of love than for status and social gain. In Kama Sutra, we was reading in Kama Sutra, they got 3 types of men, and the horse type of man is one of those. And based upon like the second half of the description of the horse yoni, it kind of really is parallels with that. Very selective, seems a little shy, but it's really secretive. You dig what I'm saying? Secretly desires other people's partners, and that would be if, okay, you see somebody and they with a woman and, oh yeah, she got her things, I don't know, it's a status thing. So, in the depictions of various gods noted for their power, status, and nobility, we find the horse as vahana, or mount. Usually it is not just one horse, but several horses are depicted pulling a chariot. This is, of course, the case of Surya, the sun, a bright planet who puts everything on display and who has no secrets. Likewise, those of the horse yoni wish to show off their partner, choosing partners that add to their grandeur and perception, partners that are conventionally attractive and honorable. They are highly selective and very picky, and the women can be hard to please. But those of the horse yoni may enjoy multiple partners and actually even secretly find various types of people attractive. They simply may not choose them as public partners for social purposes. The men in particular may have unofficial partners that may even occupy a social class or otherwise have socially undesirable features that fill them with shame should anyone discover their secret affair. The elephant yoni. The elephant yoni, as far as female genitalia, is one of the deepest, if not the deepest. Curious enough, these are also the classifications of Vatsyayana in his seminal work, this the Kama Sutra, where he placed the horse as the largest for men and the elephant as the deepest for women. What is curious is that the same yoni animal that is deepest for the female often results in small male genitalia. For example, Even though the elephant yoni is one of the deepest for women, it may result in very small male genitalia. That's a repeat. It is for this reason that the elephant yoni tend to experience the greatest amount of sexual dissatisfaction and frustration, often leading to a grumpiness on the part of the woman. It is the most difficult to satisfy sexually and often require many elaborate practices and techniques, from BDSM and other such erotic practices that are less about direct penetration, but more so overall physical as well as psychological stimulation. They often report the least amount of satisfaction with their partners, but they themselves try to offer their partners great sexual satisfaction. Overall, the most erotic yoni type in terms of what is employed sexually. I know some women. I've met women with elephant yoni, and I like the Barani Moon, Ravati Moon. I like all Ravati Moons, my nigga. Jesus. They be tall. Oh my gosh, they be tall. The Barani Moons be tall too, but the fucking Ravati Moons be tall. Oh my goodness gracious, my nigga. The elephant is an animal of prestige associated with many gods, but it is also associated with goddesses Lakshmi and Kamala, the one being the tantric form of the former, right? It is an animal related to water and depth of satiation. And so Ravati and Bharani have the elephant as their yoni to suggest that their thirst for sexual satisfaction is so great that they require libations of elephantine proportions. And indeed, they employ the widest variety of techniques, performances, toys, etc., all to bring an individual to a state of total sexual satiation, which again makes them the most erotic yoni type out of necessity, as they need all these things to get off. This symbolism suggests that orgasm is difficult for them to attain. Despite the elephant yoni struggling to find satisfaction, the partners of the elephant yoni come out more satisfied than them. I was told that. I asked. I was just, hey, look, so what was up? Hey, look, kind of selfish and shit. Elephant yoni woman was like, yeah, motherfucker, kind of selfish. Feel me? And, I was about to say something else. Let's continue, though. I was going to say something that we learned from Starsky and Cox Sextrology. Right? So, goat yoni. Often domestic and monogamous, but have been noted as easily tempted into illicit sexual interactions outside of the relationship. Who should got that? They have the betrayal trauma and all of that. Like either they gonna step out or get stepped out on. Probably same for Critica. Because Critica wanna be Critica is like a soldier, so they wanna conquer something. And that's what it's about. So one of the more easily pleased sexually, as they do not require too many elaborate practices and performances, but owing to their malleability, happily go along with the preferences of their partners. Given the general desirability of both the goat and cow yonis, they tend to have many suitors. Other yoni types possess a very specific sexuality, but cows and goats are gratifying to the widest number of people, so they are seen as generally the most attractive yoni types, but also the most stolen, as one's relationship with such yoni types is often assaulted by those outside one's relationship. Tolerant and forgiving of their partners, they are noted for their generosity and love. In fact, they are often taken advantage of by others. But they very much fit the conservative framework, the traditional roles defined by how much they give to their partners and families. They are seen as ideal spouses for their dedication to duty. Yeah. I think Purple Falguni shows the ideal man, and then Uttara Falguni is supposed to be like traits of the ideal woman. So, and Uttara Falguni is one of the cow yonis, with Uttara Bhadrapada, and the goat yonis is Kritika and Pusha. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Symbolism. Of course, goats, in both the Vedic context and beyond, is associated with ritual sacrifice. The very god of ritual skill himself, Daksha, is said to have the head of a goat. Agni, the god of fire, which is the key element in ritual, is also said to have the goat or ram as a vehicle. So we see the goat is associated with sacrificial offerings, an animal that generously gives of itself for the benefit of the community, and this goes in line with the aspects of the moon, represented by both Pusha and Kritika, its exaltation, and how both of them are separately related to ritual fire and the nurturing and caring of those around them. Only the unblemished lamb or goat is offered into the flames, and so there is an innocence and sexual purity to them as well. They are also very concerned with a sense of purity, but are often easily pulled into wrong behaviors by others. Because a goat is kind of a sheep, you know. Serpent, the serpent yawning, a tendency to cling to the partner. Tight hugs and embraces and much caresses. Nervous, neurotic, requiring much of reassurance and love and romance. Perform anger and sadness, all to call the attention of their lover. Are seen as dramatic and easily agitated anytime they feel insecure in the union. Despite protesting and threatening to leave, they usually remain attached to their partners, even if being mistreated. Employ various manipulative strategies to maintain a relationship. Struggle to forget old partners. Are seen as clingy and possessive, which may put some individuals off but may strongly attract others. One of the passionate yoni types, most naturally seductive without having to develop skills in the area. Like the rat yoni, the serpent yoni enjoys sneaking around and entering into relationships with forbidden individuals, but wish to claim partners publicly as well. They indulge in secret affairs in the dark and are often associated with the theft of other people's partners, though they may not do so unintentionally, unlike the rat yoni. Or the rat yoni be trying to do it intentionally. I was just talking to a serpent yoni person, and but nigga trying to act like he ain't on that tender shit, but nigga, it's a tendency to cling to the partner. It's like, just chill, little guy. You feel me? Like, if you gonna do it, you gonna do it. It say you can. What you scared of? The fuck, man? You want 6 women? Go get you 6 women, then, I guess. But how you gonna cling to all 6 of them? Just stop it. You feel me? You niggas gotta chill, man. You niggas really gotta chill. Alright. Serpents throughout mythology carry dual symbolism, seen as calculating, duplicitous, dishonest, and suffering from too much attachment. But they are also seen as a healing animal, and their uncoiled state relates, of course, to spiritual evolution. In the case of the serpent yoni, we see intense attachment to be a leading characteristic, which leads to classically serpentine emotions like jealousy and possessiveness. The serpent yonis may entertain fantasies of locking or trapping their partners in a tower or otherwise being isolated with them. They enjoy doing activities as a couple. Okay. Yeah. Okay, dog yawning. As far as sexual behavior, they are the ones with the most transgressive tendencies, boundary breaking, and at its most extreme, degrading and demeaning acts. In the extremes, it is perceived as the most sexually degenerate along with the rat yoni. They may be very jealous and antagonistic towards anyone they perceive as threatening their relationship. May suffer from insecurities within the relationship that may pressure them to act in ways they may feel ashamed about later on. I bear witness to that. Wow. I worked with somebody that had Mona and Mula. They was with somebody that had Mona and Archer. And both of them had that like, ooh, I did something shameful. It was like y'all got chill. Y'all got chill. Despite mistreatment in a relationship, they are very inclined to remaining within the relationship. And at its worst may even romanticize some of the uglier aspects, seeing their tolerance and loyalty at the face of mistreatment as another expression of love and fidelity. Dogs are very loyal. It is the most associated with romantic tragedies, individuals who fall in love with those socially considered unfit, a union that their families and society seek to end. The dog yoni then is forced to fight for their love against the world. The dog yoni is associated with Ardra and Mula ruled by the nodes. The nodes kind of give a bit of outcast influence, you feel me? Like, ooh, misfits and stuff. So the dog is associated with the sort of deities that are considered rejected from conventional society, like fierce forms of Shiva. The sort that hang out about cremation grounds and other such places, considered by the dualistic to be grotesque, slimy, unseemly, seedy, and lacking all order. But of course these same deities that rule over such things see no evil in them, as they are non-dualistic. Such deities include goddess Niriti and god Yama, and indeed Rudra, considered by the dualistic as repulsive. Those who exist outside the bounds of conventionality. So, the sexuality of those of the dog yoni likewise pays no mind to what is right or wrong. It simply gives in to every grotesque inclination, which may even include sex with foreigners, with those of a lower class, same-sex experiments, and in the extremes, even bestiality. The dog is contextualized in environments of such lack and scarcity, which for an aesthetic is beneficial for facilitates his severance from the material plane. But for those who still possess material desires, to be put in such environments only exacerbates their thirst and hunger. Likewise, the dog yoni goes about romance and sexuality in a hungry, desperate way, and often with a scarcity mindset. The actual dogs mate, they remember like the what is that? What's the name for the male dog? I don't know. His shit swell up, and then they get locked. He be trying to move, and eyes painful. Now they in pain. It's supposed to be pleasure, but it's all pain. And they stuck. Alright. Cat yawning. Generally preferring that the other partner perform the initiating in sexual play. Enjoy pinching, biting, scratching, and other slightly painful acts. Alternating between caresses and gentle blows, switching rapidly between pain and pleasure, that by the contrast, the pleasurable moments feel that much more gratifying. Though they enjoy a little pain, they do not like outright shameless violence. They may enjoy some mocking and some belittling and some sexual play as a means of riling up the lover. They may act cold and distant as a means of provoking a reaction. Enjoy games that involve some degree of emotional manipulation. Sound like Slacia. Nervous and easily agitated, needing to be constantly appeased and reassured. Though they enjoy aggression, they rank below the tiger and lion yoni in their enjoyment of brutality and sex. Very domestic, concerned with their abode and the careful accumulation of resources for a safe home. That's the station and Punavasa. Though may be attracted to exciting partners, often prefer more laid-back and gentle partners with many resources. They find it easier to control and benefit from partners who are more passive. They secretly fantasize about more dangerous partners, but fear being used and taken advantage of by them. Often afraid of giving too much of themselves in relationships, they measure out how much they give and demand double from the partner. They enjoy material comforts, look to be offered in this partnership, becoming attached to those who spend money on them. That's a slave shit in Punarasu, yeah, no bull. Like a slasher for sure is like, hey, look, I gave you this, I just like need triple that back. No back. Slasher say his pimple die once your emotions get involved. The cat mythologically is seen as a blessing for the home. Animals who, if you give to them, they give back, but mystically, as they are seen as transactional. We see this, of course, in the case of the Egyptians. They are seen as protecting the family's resources, guarding against the consuming force of rodents, and even in the Hindu goddess Shasti is seen as a domestic force, benefiting the home, and her Vahana is a cat, a gentle protector of the family's prized possessions. Likewise, we find with the cat yoni that they enjoy hoarding and protecting wealth and jealously guard their own as well as their partner's wealth. Fearful of the evil eye, we see particularly in the case of Aslacia a willingness to present oneself as poorer than one actually is, dressing simply and driving a simpler car, talking nonstop of one's financial difficulties, all the while hoarding great wealth in one's basement. Though they enjoy sex, they very much enjoy receiving love in the form of material possessions. No fucking bad. The Aslacias that I know, this is true. You feel me? And the Aslacias I've heard of. Oh man. Rat yawning. They enjoy frequent, very regular copulation, are very quick to engage with others sexually, intensely erotic, enjoy multiple semi-sexual interactions throughout the day, as well as offering little moments of sexual excitement like sending suggestive messages, tickling, buying small but thoughtful gifts, dressing in ways that excite their partner, not necessarily obviously like wearing minimal clothes, but in less obvious ways like dressing as a fictional character that one knows excites one's partner. But those that outside of the relationship may not know, oh, these like cosplayers. It is more so a private communication, enjoy secret romances, and is considered one of the most perverse. The rat yoni requires a lot of attention from the partner to stay interested. They tend to enjoy romance the more forbidden or difficult to attain it is. They also enjoy romance with unconventional individuals, as well as other such things. Anything that inspires them to sneak around in the dark and partake of a special fruit that they aren't allowed to excites them, just as the very animal, the rat, enjoys infiltrating guarded spaces and eating prized goodies. The men enjoy sleeping with the spouses of other men. It's crazy. And then rats kind of nasty, so it's like I would assume like people with the rat yoni that got burned before and shrugged it off. Okay. Symbolism. Now, you do your thing. I ain't sweating it, but that's if you really want other people's. Hey, Lord Ganesha famously rides the mouse or rat, and he is the god that breaks through obstacles, always finding an entry even in the most impossible situations. The aspect of the rat, often spoken of in its context, is their tendency to enter spaces where they are not wanted and indulge in the treasured goods of unsuspecting households in the dark. Likewise, the rat yoni nakshatras enjoy the goods of other households, and the men are known for stealing other men's women and otherwise pursuing relationships in the shadows. So probably like you might be tricking and shit like that. The men of the rat yoni may be despised by other men, scorned like the rat animal itself, which doesn't know its place. They may get into fights with other men for daring to flirt with their women, for example. Owing to their fascination for secret rendezvous in the shadows, they may be patrons of prostitutes or even be inclined towards prostitution themselves. Nah, you really freaked out, and it's like you know, it's hey, everything in the shadows. You do your thing. I ain't mad at that. Yikes. You gotta have boundaries to a degree. Like if you tricking, just go do the swinging thing. But you know, planets that activate that star might be a little like, hey, The rat yoni carries an energy that is sexually mischievous and sexually mysterious. There's a naughtiness to it. An energy that can sometimes come off as dirty, as their aura can be mired from their intense sexuality. They do not stop themselves from pursuing the partners they desire, much like how rats in Vedic symbolism represent the uncontrolled mind that entertains many inauspicious thoughts that eventually get one into deep trouble. Oh yeah, so man, I know a Moon and Aries guy. He was kicking it with a Moon and Leo woman, and I kind of knew. I was like, oh, I don't know if you prepared for that, guy. Certain things you could kind of see. It's like, ooh, you don't even know. You don't even know. So the cow yawning, polygamous tendencies. The women have large breasts. As far as male sexual organs, also ranking among the thicker. They make stable long-term partners. The cow yoni is also the most sexually malleable in that it is willing to perform any number of sexual acts, from the more conventional to the less accepted, as long as it gratifies the partner. Though it itself prefers more conventional practices, it is also the yoni that indulges in the act of sex the most, a strong preference for conventionally attractive partners. The cow and goat yonis are also simultaneously domestic, but the most inclined to be tempted into sexual relationships outside of the relationship, as they are seen as so desirable. They have many suitors who pursue them even in marriage. The cow yoni, like the goat, given its popularity, quickly inspires partners into committing to them long term by way of marriage, out of fear that someone else may steal them from one. So this perception of their desirability forces even the least commitment oriented to quickly ask for the cow's yoni in hand in marriage, lest they escape their grasp. They are simultaneously the ones that lose their virginities the earliest and engage in sexual acts the most, but also may withhold themselves sexually again, given their desirability. They may either give into their options readily, in the case of men, or feel no pressure to perform sexual acts in order to keep a partner, confident that a better one is on the horizon, especially in the case of the women. Symbolism. The cow is, of course, seen as the most divine and sought after of animals within Hindu symbolism. Various tales of sages carefully guarded their cow from many ne'er-do-wells who coveted their auspicious influence. We see then that the cow yoni nakshatras are among the most, or perhaps the most, desired partners. The cow is also connected to wish fulfillment, as they grant the manifestation of every desire, hope, or dream common to them. Likewise, Uttara Falguni and Uttara Bhadrapada are connected to fantasy partnerships. The Prince Charming, the girl next door, that boy or girl upon whom we project our happily ever after. The cow is seen as a perfect animal, totally without blemishes. That's why I'm saying y'all gotta chill with the burgers, man. Likewise, the cow yoni nakshatras are seen as perfect. But, owing to how desired they are, grabbing their attention is not easy. And though they take commitment very seriously, they don't mind a fling here and a fling there, gratifying the little desires of those around them. The buffalo yoni. The buffalo yoni, as far as male genitalia, ranks among the larger ones, especially noted for thickness. The women may have large breasts. They make stable long-term partners. Though they may have a sexual appetite, they are less immediately aroused than other yoni types and prefer slow, gentle, affectionate lovemaking over brutal, degrading types. Their lovemaking may last a long time. They tend to take things slow in relationships overall, not just sexually, but romantically as well, as they tend to wait many years before getting married. Are often very sentimental and are often quite sexually passive, but may enjoy being asserted on. The men, for instance, are inclined towards bisexuality or queerness, as they can be so sexually passive and slow that they enjoy the more active polarity of other men. Having the hot pursuit of other men projected onto them may excite them and animate their sexuality. Often they prefer evenness, heat in women. The women may struggle to find men who truly excite them and may either tend toward virginity for a long time or may indeed engage in sexual acts but not fully enjoy the experience. And this may also lead them to considerations as to possible queerness. Generally, this is a slow to rise sexuality that may lead much to sexual confusion or even sexual disinterest. They often come in two extremes, either not much sexuality or owing to this odd detachment from sexuality. They can engage in a wide variety of unusual sexual activities because it's all the same to them. Saturn and Lord Yama are two gods seen with the buffalo as their mount. And in both cases, the buffalo is depicted as a slow-moving animal, not easily excited, but patiently allowing itself to be goaded. Likewise, those of the buffalo yoni prefer to be goaded by a more heated force, and they're not easily excited, but simultaneously go with the flow. Sexuality is what permits them to be simultaneously quite virginal and yet freaky, as both of these behaviors for them arise from a place of indifference. Actually, many of those who have specifically Saturn on their ascendant or conjunct Sun or Moon also suffer from a very slow and less easily excited sexuality, often requiring extreme measures like pornography or more other extreme sexual practices to feel something. Indeed, many such individuals also suffer from a lot of sexual confusion, but most especially the men with such Saturn placements, as the coldness of Saturn is very much at variance with the typically hot sexuality of the average man. Of course, many of these men tend towards bisexuality or homosexuality, at least early in life. Buffalo Yoni is Swati Moon and Hostamons. I don't really know Swatis or Hostas for real. I just know that I'm supposed to stay away from Swati people. Tiger. Tiger Yoni. Hungry, aggressive, and intimidating sexuality that may put others off. Hard to reach or get close to, though seen as fascinating from afar. Sexually confident to the point of causing alarm in the partner. A tendency to enjoy intense stares, much growling. Enjoy establishing a clear dominant and passive. Very sensitive in matters of the relationship. Quick to take offense at any perceived slight from the lover. Quick to retaliate and demands to be appeased. The women with such yonis often enjoy sexual positions that have them on top. Was she a tiger yoni? I think she was. Kill. Despite being seen as sexually fascinating, it has fewer sexual partners than the more approachable yonis, such as the cow and the goat. The tiger yoni is sexually stimulated by quarrels. Oh my gosh, that shit draining. Quarrels and arguments, and they enjoy the idea of sex as a tool of vengeance. I don't really fuck with that, and that's where it was like, this ain't gonna work. They too often find sexuality as a subject matter rather fascinating and a little terrifying, which is why they may take a while to engage in it early in life. Symbolism. The tiger and lion seem to often be interchanged as far as vahanas of deities. It is the vahana of Lord Rahu, the neurotic air planet that changes temperament with lightning speed, going from seemingly calm and pleasant mood to totally terrifying humor. Likewise, those of the tiger yoni can be frightening when their mood changes, and what one finds is that sexually they either seem disinterested in intercourse altogether or are excited by the more brutal, aggressive aspects of it. It's really it's a competition. It's like who can, you feel me? It's fun, but totally terrifying humor. Alright. Often they go from angry to sexually stimulated, as this animates them. They enjoy expressing their anger sexually, and there is a relationship between rage and sex. The tiger and lion yoni may also suffer from some degree of sexual slowness, like the buffalo yoni, that can lead to some confusion concerning sexuality, as they require a great degree of stimulation, be it visual or emotional, in order to feel something. But slow sexuality wouldn't be the term to describe it. More so of an on and off switch, which requires a lot to turn on. So you got big appetite, right? And then tigers and lions, they have to stop and really like go out and focus on whatever they trying to get to satiate their appetite. And they only got a 20% success rate. So they really got to be careful. Well, not careful, but they got to be persistent. Because that 20% going to really satisfy them. You know what I'm saying? And it's a domination kind of thing. So it's like they really just want to come together, clash, and then separate. Because tigers, especially, we talking about Shaka, is determined. It got a goal to reach. And then Chitra, Chitra got a karma to work on. So they just got things to work on. They have merit and certain things that they gotta like get off of them and burn up certain karmas, I think. And certain like patterns that they did. So the deer yoni, many sessions, much emphasis on flirtatious activities, sweet talking, gift giving. They are also some of the ficklest partners. And one needs to constantly grab their attention by offering something novel, lest their minds wander. Be it taking them to new restaurants, new vacation destinations, out to meet different people, or even offering, again, gifts and such things. Like the rat yoni, the men of the deer yoni enjoy illicit relationships with other people's partners. The men of the deer or rabbit yoni may also be consciously promiscuous. Enjoy playing harmless games on their partners as another means of calling their attention. The men of the deer yoni are the most seductive as they understand the very fickle nature of women and so train themselves on how to pacify her and lull her into a state of receptivity. The rat yonis often employ excitement as a ploy to attract women. The deer yonis employ comfort and other techniques that help women feel safe, calm, and cared for, seducing them into a state of security which can then lead to casual sex. The men report the highest number of sexual partners as they are the best hunters, understanding the inherent neuroticism of the female gender. The women, owing to their fickleness, are some of the most high maintenance, hard to please, hard to pin down, and tend to only submit to men who are good at stilling her into a state of loyalty. I got a younger sibling who has Moon in Jayas, the deer yoni, and he also has Venus, the first house, Kendra on sign. Like he got the Malavia yoga going on. There's no other planet with Venus. So yeah, you dig what I'm saying? And then his mother is on Arana Moon. She's a deer yoni. Alright, symbolism. The deer in iconography is an animal representing distraction, the naturally agitated and fickle nature of the mind. The god of meditation himself, Shiva, is often seen holding back a leaping deer by the legs to represent his ability to restrict thought. The deer is easily bored and looks for novelty. Other deer-like animals in Vedic symbolism include the gazelle, the mount of Vayu, god of air, and the antelope, mount of the moon, which are other animals related to mental fickleness, but also related to tricking the mind. So the men of the deer yoni understand the nature of fickleness and mental weakness, and they use this ability to distract, dazzle, and otherwise beguile women. The men specifically are naturally seductive, but they dedicate much of their lives to learn the ever more subtle techniques of seduction, quickly getting random, strange women to bed. In fact, their ability to bed random women they find in the street seems to surpass that of the perfect Falguni male, who often employ much more effort and theatrics per individual woman. The women of the Dirioni nakshatras are easily bored and require much attention lest another male pull them away. Yeah, I seen that happen, but don't sweat that harm. You be cool. Feel me? Just chill, guys. You didn't know. You ain't know. Monkey yoni. Foreplay being the most enjoyable aspect of intercourse. Regular breaks during intercourse to fondle one another. Kill. The males of Purva Ashada may possess elephant trunk-like members, not in the sense of size, but in that it may curve downward somewhat. Enjoy many indirect forms of flirtation. Enjoys foreplay and other non-sexual means of exciting the partner, like putting on performances. For example, imitating the accent of foreign countries or dressing like fictitious characters that one knows excites one partner. The monkey yoni is overall the most performative in a sensual sense, putting on entire personas for the gratification of the spouse. Most seductive yoni type in the sense of developing incredible skills of seduction, whereas the more naturally seductive without having to develop much skill would be the serpent yoni. Loves to make paintings and poetry and music about one's lover and offering such thoughtful works as gifts, even something as little as properly organizing the bedroom into a fantasy, buying special pillows and lights and lamps, trailing the room with flowers to enjoy a night of love making fit for a romance. Nah, that's no bap, cuz I'm telling you, like, I don't know what the fuck I couldn't explain. They be like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Especially in the bedroom, it's a different experience in the bedroom. Like you ain't even knowing. I put together a whole playwright for us tonight show. Hey, you dig what I'm saying? Hey, Mo. And I be butting heads. I got a friend that is of the serving young, like Moon and Rohani. I got a friend and cuz just like sometimes it would just be rapping and I be like, bro, like when they say naturally seductive, it's like it come natural to them. It come natural to the monkey only, but it's like it's a certain I agree. Just know I agree. Dercio, Lichucha, the hidden octa. I agree. It's a certain thing because cuz get to talk. I'll be like, bro, chill. But why you ain't do this? And you know what I'm saying? My shit really be deliberate. You take what's natural and now you really get deliberate. Okay. And the Notebook was my shit growing up. Like as a single digit child, like the Notebook, my cousins would just play that junk all the time, bro. But I was like, I can't fuck with it. Hell, I would have went to the bookstore today if I'd have left early and I'd have got me a romance novel. I was going, hey. So symbolism, of course, throughout mystical symbolism, we are familiar with the monkey as a trickster character, very clever, highly dexterous, loves to play games. From a romantic and sexual perspective, we see this as well with the two monkey yoni nakshatras who love to put on performances for the gratification of their lover. The monkey is also seen as highly artistic, in some parts of the world being a patron god of arts, making music, paintings, and poetry. I'm gonna get a book on poetry too. I want to learn how to write poetry again. I actually want an award for poetry as a single digit. Like my nigga, hey, look, my nigga, I agree. Likewise, especially in the case of Purva Ashada, we find that the partner acts as a sort of muse. I know another monkey yoni woman. Yeah, what? Like, oh, I don't even be thinking about poetry, but it's like, hey, look, I like that you be around. And as a means of seducing them, we find a Purvashada male serenading her with his acoustic guitar as she sits on the balcony. But perhaps the monkey also relates to themes of devotion as it connects to Lord Hanuman. Let us explore this. Purvashada specifically, as it connects to the Svadhisthana chakra, relates to the intelligent union of male and female union. Finding that one person who completes you, and so it relates to themes of finding your one true love. The Ashadas defeat the carnal aspects of one's humanity. Sagittarius kicks off the last third of the zodiac and relates to spirituality. And the way Purva Ashada does this is by annihilating our desire for love, sex, and union by uniting us with the person who completes us. Shravana also carries themes of devotion, but could the monkey as a symbol really express such qualities of devotion? Such a notion is not echoed in other symbolic representations of the monkey, both within and outside of monkey Vedic symbolism. Despite the monkey-headed god in Hinduism relating to devotion, it is perhaps too far a reach to say that Purvashada and Shravana are devotional owing to the monkey only. Yeah, because the monkey mind is real, like, it's not as fickle as some of the other parts of the mind, but the monkey mind it's reaching for stuff. You feel me? It's branching from here and there. Mongoose yoni. No attachments to sexual partners, because there's no pair for the mongoose. It is a struggle to remain committed, and one may gain a reputation as a philanderer. Prefers independent partners with their own interests and identities. Generally dislikes needy partners, but may appreciate the fact that they're always remaining consistently interested in the relationship, even when the mongoose yoni itself is not. The way that the mongoose yoni is offered some relationship security. They make wonderful friends for their easygoing nature, but this same level-headed, relaxed temperament may be read as indifference within romance. Does not enjoy the clinging element in romantic partnership. Mongooses are hostile to snakes, so any type of clinginess and jealousy and possessiveness, they freak out. Often, through their seeming indifference, can indirectly provoke a sense of insecurity in their partners, which stirs irrational emotions like jealousy within the partner. To outsiders, the partner may seem unreasonable and reacting out of proportion to simple situations. But, when in reality, in a subtle way, the mongoose yoni native may behave in small but significant ways that trigger much insecurity. And because the mongoose yoni presents as very calm, outsiders project all the fundamental issues of the relationship onto the partner, who is merely manifesting outward internal issues that may have been started by the mongoose yoni. One may enjoy traveling a great deal, especially by oneself, can be disinterested in sexual activity or engage in much of it, but outside of marriage. May tend towards some degree of bisexual behavior, as one may be undifferentiating in one's sexual behavior. Many more spiritually mature mongoose yoni natives may tend towards celibacy and be fascinated by the lifestyle of monks. I listened to a journalist and a researcher. I believe they got Moan in the Tara shot, and that nigga job like hit the road dolo. Not really dolo, he be having this big ass gun in the backseat and shit, but yeah. So symbolism. The mongoose is associated with the pot-bellied god of wealth Kubera, who is said to have been victorious over the sensual and serpentine underworld beings and acquired from them the wealth of the material plane. And in fact, the mongoose is associated with him precisely because it is known to kill serpents and be immune to their wiles. In a sexual context, Uttara Shada has the easiest time resisting the psychic attack that is lust, which is serpentine in nature. And in doing so, it collects the treasures that these serpentine entities drink up. Semen. What gives one strength in the path of Uttara Shada is one's ability to properly collect and store this liquid gold, a term alchemists use to refer to semen, in pots. But alchemically speaking, a man ejaculates in many forms, though the major form is through the phallus. What makes this nakshatra undefeated is that no form of attack overwhelms them, and in this context, not even sexuality. But recall, the energy of the sacral chakra is also serpentine, and this center relates to attachment and connection, suggesting that the Mongoose yoni does not suffer from the clinging tendencies that passionate and romantic individuals are often susceptible to, making this nakshatra indifferent to relationships. Though this nakshatra can produce ascetics, it often manifests as men who are not loyal romantically and can easily wander here and wander there, having sex with different women without feeling connected to them. It is also interesting that the Mount of Kubera is said to be a human man, again suggesting that he conquers the common, perverse tendencies of men that ultimately leads to male accumulation of power, wealth, and physical beauty. The undefeated indeed. Lion yoni. Similar to tiger yoni, a tendency to enjoy body worship and very inclined towards oral sex. Generally, sexually intimidating personally, but also with somewhat of a fear of the fury of their own sexuality, suggesting that the individual can range from rather demure to voracious with an interest in aggression. Sexuality is often activated when angry, hard to get close to but admired from afar. With the tiger yoni, it ranks as the most alarming and fear-inducing with their sexuality, also quick to take offense in romantic matters and demands to be appeased. The women in this yoni often enjoy sexual positions that have them on top, and the men often enjoy positions that physically have them on the bottom, under the women. The men may have extreme fantasies of the ideal woman, and because of the extreme erotic tendencies of this yoni, modern day influences like social media and pornography may exacerbate their ideals, making it more difficult for them to find joy in the beauty immediately available around them, as they require extreme stimulation, even or especially at a visual variety. Of the many deities that have the lion as their mount includes the very goddess of erotic passion, Lalita, she who plays, of whose mantra is clean, the mantra that quite literally drives others insane with erotic passion, also the mantra of the Vedic Cupid, Kamadeva. The goddess Kamakya also has the lion as her mount, and she is considered the embodiment of desire. The lion yoni can be very erotic. Those of the tiger and lion yonis on the one extreme may dress in a very sexually seductive way, walk with much confidence, and exude an overall aura of extreme sexiness. But ironically, this is one of the reasons that they may not have too many sexual partners, for they are seen as too sexually intimidating, to the extent that they are not approached. Instead, people fantasize about them from afar, but their effect on the public is rather extreme regardless. Their aura can also seem dirty to others, as it can exude much sexuality. The planet Rahu is also said to have a lion as one of its many mounts, and Rahu too enjoys the most extreme sensual pleasures. Those of the lion and tiger yonis tend to have very high standards as to what they find pleasing and desire partners that are extremely sexually attractive. They tend to be unattractive to most people, for the average person does not stir them to passionate extremes. And this is one of the many reasons they can remain rather virginal and celibate for many years, because no one around them is sexy enough to activate them. Often they may end up in relationships where they do not engage in much sexual congress simply because they are not stirred. Okay. First thing they say is kind of like, nah, no back. I bear witness to that, John, where they say like that little naughty dose where you and another person are of the same star. It's kind of like astrological cosmic incest. You dig what I'm saying? Like, y'all got the same moon star. Nah, don't do that. In a way, I kind of feel like the cosmos gonna like smack your hand and stop that. Cause that's what happened with me. I was like, ooh, and then something happened. Like, it wasn't on that, but it was like there was a potential for it, I guess. Like me and somebody else had the same moon star, and it was like, I'm feeling you, but there is something here that's like, don't do this. Feel me?